Walk cycles. Hi everyone, Taikenzor here with another tutorial and more specifically in animation. Now normally I taught the software, but I think it's good to go into animation specifically and specifically walk cycles because walk cycles are the basic building block for any animation. And there are different types of walk cycles, but the one I'm going to be looking at today is the biped walk cycle, which is two legs. Now, I learned a cool way of doing it a lot easier. Before I did it, I had used to use references such as Idleworm's walk cycle, and this is from the Richard Williams Animator Survival Kit. But this one I used to use. And when you're just starting out to use work with walk cycles, it's good to start with references because it helps you understand the positions that are normally there in every basic walk cycle. And these might be you could say default kind of walk cycles, but then different characters have different kind of walks, but they all have the same positions in a sense. Not necessarily looking exactly like this, but they will have a contact, a recoil, a passing, and a high point if they have two legs. So I'm going to show you a cool way I learned how to do this using, you could say, some repetitive ways of doing it. I learned it from Don Pero. Hey Don, hope this makes you proud. And the way he taught it was so that you could do a progressional walk. Not so much walking on the spot, but as you walk across the screen or walking in different positions. And what he taught was using the first position and the third position, and then afterwards from there you do the others. So he'd call the first one the stride, and the third one would be the crossover. If you've read the Animator Survival Kit, you'll notice that this is what it looks like, and it's the same as the contact and the passing position. So I'm going to show you how it's done. Take a note. So don't expect my drawings to be all amazing, but this essentially is the stride. Let me draw this again. And so what would happen is that just to get the basics of how your walk cycle would look, you would pretty much take this, paste it, and make sure the feet match. And you just do that for every other, well, rather every 4 frames you'd put that there, not every 3rd frame. So give me a minute. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoops. Not sure why my undo is not working. That is strange. Alright, so let's do this. Let's double ooh. And 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We do one more. 1, 2, 3, 4. See what's before. Alright, so we move this last one across. I don't see this. So we have our 4 strides. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh. Oh, it's the same drawing. We want a completely different drawing. So next you put the crossover, and I'll just get this. So the crossover would be about this, roughly the same height, except you have to notice that the foot will still be there, and one will be over here. And so then I'll do, just to make sure the size is the same, copy this, and here we'll paste, carry this over about here, and for one thing, you're roughly even distance apart. So you take this, you draw foot down, and one is going to be across like so, because it's crossover. You're crossing from one leg to the other. And so what I'm going to do is just going to copy this, and the same for over here. Paste this drawing over here. So now it looks something like this. So you have the onion skin and play this out. Okay, it's a bit fast. Let's drop the frame rate to about 2, or rather, let's say about 6. I'll just play this out. Okay, this one is awkward. So you can see that we have stride, step, stride, step, stride, step, right? Oh, I haven't done one for this end here, but that's fine. So I'll just get rid of this middle one here. Alright, my mouse is acting up a little weird and my undo is not working properly. So I'm gonna have to go on manual for a while. So I'm gonna get rid of this exposure here, as well as these, so there's no doubles. So then 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. I suppose I would have preferred if it looked something more like this. So it looks like it's leaning forward a bit more. That way it looks more natural. So let's see how the onion skin looks like. And this would look, I guess this would look a little better. But these are the two main positions you do first. And then afterwards you do the other position, the down and the up. So first down, and you notice that you have one foot definitely stepping down on the ground. Before you have on the contact, you had both feet on the ground. Down is where the other foot starts getting up. Passing or crossover is where one foot is in the air while the other one's on the ground. And up is where one foot is pressing against the ground, pushing the entire body up, and then the other foot is in the air. So back here, We're just going to do the bottom one first, copy that across, and then do the last one. So you want to make sure that your foot is always, the reason why we'll have the foot always touching in the same spot is to prevent sliding. You might notice in some cartoons that as the character walks, they kind of slide on the ground. So this kind of prevents that. So let's draw the body a little lower. And we know that one foot is coming up. So we know this foot is coming up. And we know that this one's on the ground. So say for example, I do it like this, where this foot, I know this foot is up like so. And I go through and I make sure that each one of those is kind of like that. Because I know it's like the foot itself is before the foot actually touches the ground or rests down on the ground parallel to the ground. The foot kind of is anchored on its heel and then comes down on the ground in the next position. So say for example we had this one, the body is down, so the leg is going to be bent a little bit more. It's in the same position except it's flat on the ground. Right? And this other foot is coming up now, so it's also a little bent. So it looks something like this. So I'll just draw the high point, or we could just copy this one across first. So copy, put that one here. And that's about it. So the only one left now is the high point. So taking off onion skin, it looks something like this. See? So after I'm done, I'm just going to put the other feet on these. So the high point, of course, using the onion skin again, just to help me out a bit. It's going to be higher than, well, it's going to be the highest point still. So high point is, you could say, about here. So in this one now, this foot is actually off the ground. Well, not off the ground, but rather pressing against the ground to push the body up. Now, of course, when you're drawing yours, you can exaggerate yours as much as you want. But you notice that this is where it pushes off from, the instep. And so this leg is actually going to be bent more up in the air. So you know, something like this. Now mind you, it's not perfect, but it's just to give you an understanding of how it works. So I'll just copy this again, paste, put them in position, make sure the feet are matched, copy this, put this here. And mind you, remember it's for every alternating foot. So right now it's not showing exactly which leg, but it gives you an idea of how a walk cycle looks. So I'm just going to fix up the legs a little bit. So it's two, getting up now. Etc. So let's play this out. So that's a basic walk cycle. Now, of course, depending on what you want to give, what kind of appeal you want to give to your character, you change how it looks. But just know that the same positions apply. You have the step where both feet are on the ground. Then you have the squash. Sorry, you have the stride. You have the squash, which is the squash is when I should probably just label them for you. So just put the names. This one is the stride, or you might know it as the contact, right? Where both feet are on the ground. So both feet are on the ground with the stride. The next is the squash. Called squash because the body comes down now, also known as the recoil, where pressure is put down on one foot. So there's recoil on this foot while this one starts to rise. Then you have the crossover, or the what was it called? Let's go on this passing position. Passing. And then you have the this one's called step by down step, or you can call this the high point. So pretty much it's just these same positions, of course, but always change the leg. So by the time it gets here, for example, let's say we focused on this leg being the black one. We'll shade the back one in black. Right, that's the one in the back. And then the black one, the background leg, be there. And now this is the background leg. So back over here. And of course it just repeats. Up in the air. High point leg. So this might make more sense to you, I think. Although something seems weird right there. And that would be your walk cycle. To repeat this, just a loop. And that's basically the simplicities of a walk cycle. So remember, use a reference if you need help. And depending on how your character's appeal is, they might be an old lady, they might be a gorilla. They don't all walk the same way. So just take that into consideration. And happy drawing. Do take care. God bless.